Hello, everyone. I'm Elsa Owsley, and we have our guest here, Dale Gibboney, for County Commissioner. Thank you. Welcome. We're so happy to have you. So our goal is to let the voters get to know you a little bit better and put a face to your questionnaire, which you already returned. So we'll just go through 4 quick questions and tell us what you feel on each issue, and then you can give us your closing statement
right.
at the end.
Well, thanks for having me, Elsa. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So first question is, why are you running for office?
Well, I've complained about politics for many, many years, and my wife finally said, well, what are you going to do about it? And I thought I should have been involved more in politics back in my 30s and 40s. I was aware of politics. I knew who I was voting for, but I wasn't involved. And I thought maybe things could have been different if most of my age group had been involved then than what they are. So I thought maybe it's not too late. I can run for a local position. I would like to try to preserve what we have here in North Idaho for my grandchildren who live here and go to school in Post Falls. So that is really my ambition here, is to try to help serve the citizens of Kootenai County.
Wonderful. We appreciate that. And what are your top 3 priorities should you be elected?
Well, I think right now the top concern for most of the citizens is the out-of-control growth. And being honest about that right up front, number one, there's no way to stop the growth, but it needs to be managed. And that is going to be extremely difficult because you have the cities that are bringing about most of this growth. I think the mayors and the city councils have never seen a piece of vacant land that they didn't want to see a big apartment building put on, especially here in Post Falls. So we need to get the county commissioners and the mayors and council talking and working together. That has just started up again. The old board had done away with the conversations they were having with them, and that needs to continue. We all need to get on the same page for a comp plan on what they want the county and the cities to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 15, even 20 years out, what they think it should be, because right now there is no planning going on what that's going to be.
Yeah. So you already touched on that, on some of that on that question, but the next one is, what are your thoughts on growth and how it will impact the county in the next 10 years?
Well, if things don't change right now, Kootenai County will look like Southern California in 20 more years. I came from Southern California. I lived there since I was 14. When I got there, there was a population of 17 million, and it just kept growing and growing and expanding, till when I finally left, there's 40 million people. There were cities that I saw that had good planning and cities that had no planning, and it makes a huge difference. Not when you get overrun by that many people, even the good planning can be a waste of time, and it's just a gridlock on all the roads and the streets. So we need to put a lot of effort into the planning to make sure that it does not turn out like that.
Yes, we appreciate that. And then 4th question is, what is your background and how will it help the county should you be elected?
Well, my background is I started life as a policeman in Los Angeles, and I worked there for 12 years. I worked in patrol. I flew helicopters for 7 out of those 12 years. I was the chief pilot there. So I wrote the policy for the training manual for all the new hire pilots, all the line pilots, the 35 line pilots that were currently flying, and I managed their recurrent training. So I decided to leave law enforcement and got into corporate aviation, where I eventually became the chief pilot at Time Warner in Burbank. I managed the 13 pilots and 5 flight attendants there. Had a budget for the training department that was about $1.2 million in today's money. So I've had experience in managing with people and with budgeting. So I think that'll serve me well on the council, or on the commission.
Sounds great. And give us your closing statement, anything you think the public, your voters should know about you, or anything you want to say.
Well, I've got a very important statement I want to make, because if I forget this, my wife won't be cooking me dinner tonight. So I'm endorsed by the Deputy Sheriff's Association, their FOP, the Fernan Rod and Gun Club, and the Coeur d'Alene Flyers. So those are important endorsements right there that show that I have people backing me who know me and will support me in this endeavor. And a lot of people cannot do their own research on the candidates, and they go only by those endorsements, which is sad, but it's true. So I wanted to get that out there. The other thing is that the things that are being done right now in Kootenai County need to change. They need to be more responsive to the citizens. There are so many of the candidates right now that are saying the thing that we need to do is cut the spending, cut the spending. That doesn't necessarily work. We had a former commissioner who is running again who cut the spending, and the county still hasn't recovered from that. They need to fund properly the county divisions so that they will have the money that they need to do to work the programs that they have.
Right.
A simple example is the IT department. You can't run on 1998 software. It has to be updated. It has to be kept current. You need to have IT people that have expertise. Otherwise, you're susceptible to hacking. Not that that's always going to prevent the hacking, but it helps. And Coeur d'Alene City just went through that, and I would guess that it cost them millions of dollars. So you can't save a few tens of thousands or $100,000 on not updating your software and then get hacked and have to pay for a ransom. So those are the things that need to be done right now to help prevent that. So I would like to oversee that and make sure everybody's properly funded in the county.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, I think we only covered one of the items that I wanted, the first three things. The growth, I mentioned that, but planning. There's not much planning going on in the department and in the county right now. The past boards, from what I've seen, all they have done is plan for maybe what's going to happen next week. And that's not far enough into the future. The rapid expansion that's going on right now in Kootenai County has consequences.
Yeah.
One of them is that people don't think about is the coroner. The coroner is out of room right now. He needs expansion. That should have been planned for 5 years, 10 years ago. When you see this rapid expansion coming, you know you're going to have more people here, and he's one of the departments that needs to expand. The other one is public safety. They were so underfunded by the last board that they almost couldn't function. The dispatchers were run down to from 24 to 9 because their pay was not kept up with what was available in the other jurisdictions around here. So they left, and we were left with 9 dispatchers, 3 dispatchers per shift, and you can see the kind of problem that would cause. They were to the point to where if one more dispatcher had left, they were going to have to discontinue the 911 service from, say, I don't know what hours they were thinking about, midnight to 6 in the morning, I don't know. But they wouldn't be able to continue to function as a dispatch center. And they dispatch for all law enforcement in Kootenai County except Post Falls. They dispatch for fire, EMS, and you have to make sure those departments are functioning.
Yeah,
it costs money when they don't. The sheriff's department, the deputies were underpaid. A first-year deputy could make $11,000 more per year in Coeur d'Alene, and at 5 years, he was underpaid by $22,000. So it didn't take long for them to figure out they could make more money doing the same job someplace else, and that's where they went. It left the county underfunded with patrol deputies, but the people had already paid for that. Their taxes paid for those deputies, but they didn't have them. So they're getting cheated by us not funding properly what they were paying for. So that's another thing right there that needs to be taken care of. So the growth, the planning, and the properly funding of the county divisions needs to occur.
Important issues, no doubt.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, for coming. We really appreciate you making the trip over. And we look forward to the election day.
All right. Well, thank you, Elsa.
Thank you all.